Welcome back to Community Conversations. I am Queen Miss Ebony J. You're listening and watching 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 100.3 Cincy's R&B station, and 101.1 The Wiz. I am Queen Miss Ebony J. And of course, this is Community Conversations, where we come to talk about all the things happening around the country and the community. But we don't just talk about them, we're providing solutions. And I'm excited because today I have in here with me Miss Bonita Campbell, who is the Vice President of the Homeless Youth Services. And then I have Amanda Walker, who is the Clinical Director of the Lighthouse Youth and Family Services. How are you both doing today?
How are you?
Thank you.
I'm good. I'm glad to have you both here to talk to us about the Lighthouse Youth Services. And just in case my listeners are not familiar with the Lighthouse, can you all tell us what the Lighthouse do?
Amanda, you want to take that one?
Sure. So Lighthouse Youth and Family Services is a social service agency that works with youth and families ages 0 to 24. I always tell people we run the gamut with what we do. So we provide mental health services, we provide housing services, substance use services. We also do foster care and adoption. So we do a whole lot of stuff over at Lighthouse.
Yes. And how can people get these services? Like, how do they receive them?
So we've got a couple of options. You can give us a call at our main phone number, which is 513-221-3350, or you can go to our website, lys.org. For people that might be in the Walnut Hills area, our main building is located there, so you can always come visit us and we will get you connected with the right people.
So when you hear the title Lighthouse, this is not like a location for youth.
Yes and no. So we have a main building, which Amanda mentioned in Walnut Hills, 401 East McMillan. And so that's our mental health offices are located in there. So staff are there and they provide some services there, as well as on that side street, Iowa. We do some mental health services and we have a clinic there that provides some psychiatric services. We have a number of residential services in and around the city. So people sometimes go to different buildings that say Lighthouse. So we have a couple of residential buildings, one that serves males in the Clifton area on Jefferson Avenue. We have a female facility as well in Walnut Hills, and we have 2 shelters. So you can see Lighthouse in and around the community with different services.
I love it. And I love that you're not just limited to one service, that they can kind of get a little bit of everything. Now, if I have a kid or a youth that knows someone who experiences different mental health challenges, how do I go about getting my child or youth into this facility? Or is that something that you all recommend? Or can you just more so show up and get drop-in services and don't necessarily have to live there?
I'll let Amanda answer drop-in services.
So in terms of like our mental health services with therapy, case management, or medication, you can show up to our main building. If we don't have a provider that's there and available to meet with you, we'll get you scheduled for an appointment so that you can come back. But in terms of our mental health services, those are outpatient. So we're either meeting with people in the community, in their homes, at their schools. Sometimes people come to the office and meet with us. So that's how our mental health services are set up.
Now, I know for the last, I guess COVID has really sent us over the top when it came to our mental health, and especially with the kids, it's really, really getting out of hand. What help can we find with you all? Because I know the parents are doing the best they can. You know, everybody's doing the best they can, but it's still really out of hand. Like, how can we get support through the Lighthouse?
So we do have a shelter called the Meekum House. It is in Walnut Hills on Highland Avenue, 2522 Highland Avenue. And that is our shelter for crisis services for young people ages 10 to 17. So if there's a young person who is really struggling at home, has some mental health issues, feels unsafe, there's domestic violence in the home, they can literally walk in the doors. It is an open facility 24/7, 365 days a year. When they come to that facility, we're going to do an assessment and figure out what is actually going on. Sometimes they are actually homeless, and maybe their family is homeless as well. And so we will connect them with services to help address whatever that crisis is and get them attached to whatever services can help them as quickly as possible. Our goal is to reunify those children with their families as quickly as possible. Sometimes that's not the safest situation for them. We do have to contact a guardian and try to figure out how can we get this young child home as quickly as possible. And if they are not willing to do that, then we may have to figure out what is the next step.
But people don't have to come into the office for mental health and behavioral health services, right?
They can be offered in their home, in the community. We have a school-based program that does services for children in their schools as well.
Oh, wow. Y'all pop up on us.
We try to make it convenient.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, especially in these times. Excuses is what we hear a lot of, and nobody wants to admit that they need help, right? So I'm always referring people to different resources, but I've been hearing that so often, we don't get therapy. The Lighthouse, is this therapy that you all are providing? Because let's not use the T word. I tell people, let's not use the T word. People get nervous, but what kind of specific mental health support do you provide? Is it counseling services? Is it resources? How are you leading them to, safety?
I would say all of the above. So we offer individual counseling and therapy services. We offer that for families as well. If there's something that a youth or their family needs that we're not able to provide internally, we are happy to refer out. For us, the biggest thing is making sure that people are connected and getting the help that they need.
Now,
I think the other thing is, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
once you start working with a family or you start working with a child, you can find out that there are other issues like food insecurity, housing insecurity. And so we're going to refer to other resources in the city to help mitigate whatever our barriers they may be experiencing or whatever the crisis that there might be as well.
Do you all partner with any other organizations in the community to help keep the Lighthouse going?
So we do have a number of volunteers that support Lighthouse. We have a number of partners. United Way is a partner of ours. We also we have contracts with other providers or other funders in the city, as well as federal funders that help us run all of our programs. So many of our residential services and a lot of our housing projects are also funded by some of those community partners, such as Jobs and Family Services, Health and Human Services federally, and HUD federally. So that is how we are providing a lot of these services, and also the Hamilton County Mental Health and Services Recovery Board.
Yes, I tell them it takes a village. That's what I mean. That's why I like to have people list some of their partners, because there's so many organizations that are giving back. And a lot of people are reinventing the wheel. You got a whole bunch of organizations that do the same thing when they could have just teamed up to have bigger manpower. So I like to ask that question because, yes, thank you to all the partners. So that way we can keep the services going. If you just tuned in, this is Community Conversations on 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 101.1 The Wiz, and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. I am Queen Miss Ebony J. It's Community Conversations, my favorite day of the week, where we get to come and really inform the community of how change can really happen. And we have it here with me, Miss Bonita Campbell, and of course, Miss Amanda Walker, who are here representing the Lighthouse Youth and Family Services. And we know that mental health is a crisis right now. It's growing, it's getting bigger and bigger every single day. What are some things that you all are noticing that you all see, often at the Lighthouse? Is it more people coming through experiencing homelessness? Is it more foster kids? Is it not having parents and support? Like, what are you seeing as that barrier?
I don't know if it's more of any of those. It is kind of the same for us. We've been in this business for a long time. We do have a large homeless population at Lighthouse. We have a homeless shelter as well for 18 to 24-year-old single male and females. And that shelter is always full. It's a 36-bed shelter in Walnut Hills as well. And so I think in terms of mental health, though, we do see an increase in mental health symptoms in that population. And that is, again, increased since COVID, certainly. But also, I think a byproduct of, all of the trauma that happened during that time. So being closed off from support networks that they had, being uncertain about what was coming next, being even uncertain about what is the next housing plan, because again, during the time of COVID, we were unable to access a lot of the resources that were out there for housing even. So landlords couldn't even turn over apartments to house people because of supply chain issues, because of labor issues. So young people were sitting in shelters, well, not just in our shelter, but shelters everywhere, not knowing what was going to happen next. And so that was really difficult. Internet resources were difficult because if something happened, how are you going to get it fixed? I mean, the whole city was shut down for a long time, right? So food insecurity was also increased at that time. Employment, and for our population in particular, when you think about the employment crisis, they were the first ones to be let go because they had those entry-level positions in restaurants and in retail. And so it affected them really exponentially as opposed to some of those other employment opportunities.
And it's been so hard to make that comeback. You go to the restaurant, I mean, y'all know y'all was out for Mother's Day, Memorial Day this weekend. I mean, it's so much going on, right? And you can't get no good service. They don't got enough cooks, or the waiters just don't know what they doing. I mean, so we are all struggling. Look, everybody's mental health in jeopardy.
We're trying to stay intact ourselves.
We really are. But we know that the youth matter, right? They are our future. So we have to make sure that we're putting our energy into them, that we're putting our resources into them to make sure that they can continue to bloom and blossom. We didn't have a time. Look, I believe I don't live long enough. Say that it's time for the youth to come in. It's time for them to come and make something shake and get it popping, because they have so many different resources now. Than we did back in the day. I had to write poems through my paper. Now you can just tell Siri how you feeling, she make a song. I mean, it's all kind of things happening right now. But I tell people all the time, media saved my life and protected my mental health. But it's about figuring out as the parent, what do your kid need? What's the support they need? And so if you're listening right now and you're hearing about the Lighthouse Youth and Family Services, is this a great fit for your kid? Could this be a great opportunity for your kid to go to the next level? Because as parents, sometimes you can't break that barrier. You can't get through. I can't tell my mama what's going on, but my teachers would know, right? I mean, sometimes it's like that. And it's not for anybody to be upset or to judge anybody, but right now we are in a crisis. Our kids are going through it. Mental health is a priority. And I just wanted to make sure I brought these ladies on because the summer is coming. It's here. You hear me? They get their first week of summer next week. Parents, do you know where your baby is going? Do you know the temperature of your kids' mental health? Because they're going to be outside with other kids. And your kids' mental health may be cool, but when they walk out the door, it may get challenged because Terrence having an issue with his mama, or Kiki going through it with his friend, right? These things are important. And I just want to make sure today, while I have these ladies on, that you all realize resources are around. We're not going to sit around and talk about how bad it is, right? I bought some help, okay? I had to call my queens to come and tell you all about what they're doing over at Lighthouse, and they're truly making a difference. They have some great partners, and they're doing an amazing job. But guess what? You can always show your support. Tell the community right now how they can support and how they can give back to your organization.
You can support Lighthouse through volunteering. We have, again, multiple facilities in which you can volunteer. We always accept donations. In-kind donations are really, really important to us. One of the things I can tell you is a huge population that we serve, our youth of color. We are desperately in need of ethnic products for them, hair care products, so please donate. You can also be a foster parent. Foster care and adoption is one of the largest programs that we have, and we are always looking for committed and supportive foster parents. So please call us if you're interested in being a foster parent. Someone will talk to you about what that is, what it's about, what the process is, and how you can help.
I didn't know the Lighthouse helped with foster parenting.
Yes, we have about 125 youth children in foster care a day.
Wow. See, learn something new every day. So see, parents, we got single women out here that can't have kids. Listen, there's a lot of parents. I mean, a lot of kids who are in need, and you can support them and guide them. And do you all have the resources to help, if the parent, is having some issues with the child or may need some assistance with the child? Do you all do a background check to see if they'll be financially equipped or things like that before you all pass them over?
Yes, there are background checks and all of that. Yes, absolutely.
Boom. So if you're interested, this may be the sign that you was looking for. I'm telling you, we can be the difference in 2023. The summer is here. The year is not over. There's something. Everybody has a purpose. Figure out yours and what is the difference you're going to make this summer. For me, I'm trying to say to you. So this week is the call, but all month I'm bringing on all kind of organizations because their mental health is a priority for me. Okay. And somebody got to stand up and do something. So if you know a nonprofit organization that help you, feel free to slide in my DMs as well. We would love to bring them on. I just want to say thank you both for coming on and talk to me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having
us.
And then y'all smile every time y'all talk about it. So I feel like my babies are safe over there at the Lighthouse. They're in good hands.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to let you all go. Again, thank you all for listening and thank you all for coming in. If you would like to be a guest on Community Conversations, we would love to have you. All you got to do is slide in my DMs, Miss Ebony J on Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat. I'm Queen Ebony on Facebook, and you can always send me an email at msebonyj@radio-1.com. This is Community Conversations on 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 100.1 The Wiz, and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. I'll see you all next week. Happy holidays.